Do you want to kill a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman.
Today, we're looking at 12 Christmas sleighs.
Welcome to the Homebrew Crew. I'm Tony, and I'm sorry for my singing in the beginning.
Thank you.
Now that's stuck in all of your heads. But today we are reviewing 12 Christmas sleighs.
Yes, so 12 Christmas sleighs is actually a bunch of authors working together to create all these Christmas-themed monsters that may be allies or enemies depending on your next homebrew adventure.
Now, this was sent to us by one of our viewers here, which was really awesome.
Yes.
I really appreciate that. We do review them, especially during the holidays. We like to go through all the stuff you guys sent us and find, the little presents and pieces of coal.
Lots of times around this time of the year, people are looking for all these awesome Christmas-themed monsters or items or things like that to kind of toss into their homebrew campaign. And this is actually a really good example, giving you a lot of different options for monsters with a lot of good backstory in case you need it.
Now, these are really awesome. We wanted to kind of go through 3 of them here that we really liked. Mm-hmm. In fact, the first one I think is my favorite.
I think it might be, yeah.
And here we go. All right, here we are, 12 Christmas sleighs. Look at that.
Yeah. The cover page really gives you a nice idea as to what you're getting yourself into, by the way, in case you haven't figured it out. So.
And we're not going to go over the Electrum Dragon because we want you to experience the Electrum Dragon on your own.
Exactly.
But we are going to go over one of the ones on the cover here, and that is the Gilded Treant.
This one is fantastic. I will really quickly say, when you're going through this, it actually gives you a quick synopsis on the creature, and it actually gives you a bunch of really creative, Christmas-themed sometimes, adventure hooks that you can give to your players in case they want an excuse as to why they're hunting this or why this creature may be coming out.
You know, what's funny is as we were going through this and we looked at our 3 monsters, we went, oh, this would actually make a really awesome adventure from one to the next to the next.
It would actually, yeah. And we kind of unintentionally did that too. So.
Right. Although they're not in the order that we want to show you. So let's get into this treant because I really like this. This is the Tree of Holiday Greed.
Yeah, and one really quick thing, it actually has a D20 roll table on Shower of Ornaments. So basically, the treant can randomly have and drop some of these random tree ornaments that you might get, like a gravy boat, a holiday card, a brass chamber pot, lots of different options.
Hanging a chamber pot?
I don't know, but it's an option. So there you go.
But as we go through, this is the stat block for the Gilded Treant, and this is phenomenal. I really love this. Obviously, it gets false appearance, because it can look like a regular decorated holiday tree. Mm-hmm. But it's got some really cool things that it does. I love the fact that it's all about greed with this thing.
Yes, yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So let's say you want to attack the tree with some fire damage.
It seems like a very fitting thing. It's made out of wood and made out of leaves. I'm going to attack this with fire damage, and we do have creatures in D&D that will take that extra damage and continue to burn. But when you try to do this on the Gilded Treant, it may backfire on you as it has flaming ornaments that it can throw back.
That's right. So on its next turn, after you've hit it with fire damage, it can hurl one of these ornaments off of it up to 60 feet, which is kind of crazy.
Pretty far.
It's got a +9 to hit. It's 2d6 fire damage.
Yeah, and again, really cool concept that, yes, you can deal this extra fire damage, but it may now be able to range pretty far away because this really doesn't have a lot of other range attacks, so it can actually start throwing these flaming ornaments at you.
Yeah, a flaming chamber pot might be flying your way.
Exactly, yes. Very fitting.
It's kind of interesting. But it also has Greed Monster, which is kind of cool. It doubles damage to objects and structures, right? So
which we've seen before.
Right, so it can totally smash a treasure chest or something. Mm-hmm. But what's cool is any of the gilded stuff that's in it, or anything that's valuable or what have you, becomes part of the tree.
Yeah, again, adding to its collection of ornaments. Again, really neat feature. This next one is Timber, which I personally think most treants and a lot of larger creatures should have. When it dies, it actually collapses. So on a 15-foot line, creatures must make a DC 15 dex save. On a fail, they take 66 bludgeoning on that kind of as the tree's kind of falling down timber. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and again, I think you're right. I think all treants should have that.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious and it works. Now, as far as a multi-attack with this thing, it gets 3 attacks, which is crazy. It gets its grasping branches and as well as its bite. as well, with 1 attack from its bite.
Yeah, and the bite is interesting. So it can actually bite and swallow a creature on the same go, kind of using those same bite mechanics we might have seen from like larger creatures. So that is one of the things that it does get.
And then the grasping branch is basically a grapple from a distance, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. So it has this really nice 15-foot reach. It can grab someone. Nice, interesting thing to note that unlike some other creatures that can grapple, since it is a tree, you can actually hit the tree branch. It's its own separate stat block, and you can actually get yourself out, by hitting the branch and, doing it that way.
Now, this next part on here I think is hilarious as well as very macabre.
Yeah, it's a little dark for the holidays.
Right. It's the harvest ornaments.
Yeah.
And basically it can pick up a dead creature from anywhere from over there, a dead humanoid with it, and eat it, and then all of that creature's equipment becomes part of the ornaments on the tree.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dark thing, but a little hilarious. And then again, it has that haul where it can pull each grappled creature up to 10 feet. It does have a couple legendary actions. The one I do want to make note, just because it's funny, is make like a tree. The tree moves up to its feet without provoking opportunity attacks.
It leaves. I know. I'm sorry.
But that wasn't by you this time.
No,
so
it wasn't by me. It was by this.
Yeah,
I am without stain on this.
Yes.
I'm good.
But really great creature. Really great one.
Yep. And this next one I think would make the best. Like, she is totally awesome for an end boss in something.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Jacky Frost.
I love how you said that. Say that again.
Jacky
Frost.
Yes.
All right, so this is your elemental ice and fire queen. She is really, really powerful. I'll leave it at that. She's very powerful.
I mean, sitting at CR 18, and one important note right after the beginning, you notice that she's actually immune to cold and fire damage, which is some of the most common player spell damage that is out there. So that's already a big hurdle to deal with, and she can't be charmed, so no suggestion command spells on her.
That's right. Your your winking and all that kind of stuff is not going to have any effect on her
Precisely.
whatsoever. But Jacky has hazardous body here, so that anytime you hit her with a melee attack, you're going to end up taking both cold and fire damage.
You take both of them, right? Exactly. She has a couple fitting spells: Cone of Cold, Fire Shield, Ice Knife, Legendary Resistance, Magic Resistance, and a bit of shapeshifting, so she can actually go down to being a small creature. And then we go on to the multi-attack, and she has some really nasty attacks on her stat block.
That's right. Now, in multi-attack, she does both Frost Wave and Immolation Bolt.
Yeah, both of which are pretty gross. Frost Wave is going to deal that cold damage and potentially reduce that target speed by half, followed by Immolation Bolt, which deals fire damage and then causes this burning effect that starts at the beginning of that creature's turns.
And if you think that's nasty, you should see what she should do on a recharge 6.
Yeah, so this is going to be...
This is crazy.
It's going to be pretty bad. It's Frostfire Eruption. So on a DC 19 con save within a 60-foot blast radius, each creature is going to take 4d12 cold damage and is restrained on a failed save. And then they're going to get hit by a fire damage of 10d8 if they fail a dex save.
Now, if you're probably wondering why is that so bad? Yes, the damage is high, but think about that. If you're restrained, you're failing that dex save.
Yeah, so you're guaranteed taking that additional 10d8 damage. So it's actually this really interesting attack that has like this double feature thing where it kind of like stacks on top of each other. Really nasty attack, but it is a CR 18 creature. And then finally, she has some really nice legendary stuff. She can do one of those, either the Frost Wave or the Immolation Bolt. She can Misty Step, or she can do one of these Flame or Frost Sweeps, which is kind of like this roundabout 5d6 fire or cold damage, depending on what she does.
Yeah, it's like getting a figure skater there who roundhouse kicks you.
Yeah, exactly.
With either the Flame Foot or the Frost Foot.
Right, and it's a 10 on damage. So.
Yeah, that was clever.
Thank you. Yeah,
you must be getting older. You're getting into the
I'm getting a little bit from you. Yeah.
But this last one is it's definitely a weaker monster.
Yeah.
But it's meant to be in droves. Like groups of these.
Right, exactly. Even some of the adventure hooks describes how a snowman at arms may approach you in armies of snowmen.
Can we show the image of what this looks like?
I think we will admit it was probably at least half the reason why we picked this creature. Sometimes there's beauty in simplicity. And there is the snowman at arms, or rather lack of arms, but very, very simple, funny little creature there. Has a battle axe and a longsword toting on both arms there.
And now he is pretty simple when it comes to the stuff.
Yeah.
They get pack tactics. They're a CR 1/2. It's not that bad. But they have Ice Walk.
Yeah, so essentially they can kind of move across icy surfaces or even climb up them without having to take any ability checks, and they also kind of ignore difficult terrain on any cold terrain there. And then on their multi-attack, they get 2 longsword attacks, as you saw on the drawing there, and they actually have a snowball attack that they can do. So again, 20-60 feet range on cold damage. On a DC 11 con save, the target speed is halved. Now, the really interesting thing is that if you have a bunch of these and they're getting hit with all these snowballs, that's a lot of opportunity to slow down your player's movement speed. And with it being CR 1/2, you can toss a lot of these.
That's true. And then you have the pack tactics thing. So when they get into close range, with them, now they're all attacking
really
with advantage.
Awesome.
It's going to be kind of crazy. But I would totally make an adventure where it's the Snowman in arms. This is the thing that's terrorizing the town.
Yeah.
And then they go and wipe those guys out, and there's the holiday treant that's there, and then you find out it's Jacky that is the one.
Yes, exactly. So even these 3 alone can make a really fun Christmas-themed adventure.
Now, if you guys want to pick that one up, once again, that is 12 Christmas Sleighs. It is by all of these people here.
Big collaboration.
That's a big collaboration. We really thank you guys for sending this to us. We thought this was a fantastically well done group of monsters.
Yeah, it's a really good example of taking that Christmas theme, also mixing in some pretty recognizable mechanics that we've seen on previous monsters, and mixing up a little bit to make them a bit of a more issue for your players.
That's right. Now, we definitely love when you guys submit stuff to us. Please send us more stuff. We enjoy that. We during the holidays here, we're recording kind of early.
Yes.
And we're kind of on a haze, but if you've got anything you want to send us that we can look at over our holidays, definitely send it to dmbrewcrew@gmail.com. We'd be happy to take a look. Not everything makes the channel, but we do our damnedest.
And after the holidays are over, if you want to get that notification as soon as you get a new video up, be sure to subscribe down below and hit that bell icon.
That's right. And remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are homebrewed. So until next time,
keep brewing.